We're very honored today to be joined by the head of marketing for YouTube, Chris Di Cesare. If any of you do not know Chris or his background, he's really one of the thought leaders behind Microsoft and the Xbox campaign, and the team worked over there. He's also very integral in the I Love Bees campaign. He's very connected in our industry and made the jump over to YouTube and really bringing his leadership behind everything they're doing there.
It's great to be here. It's funny, I've been at YouTube 2 years. I was at Microsoft 12 years and then jumped over to YouTube. And it's the first time in 2 years that I've actually been at a gaming event, which is kind of like no E3s, kind of. So I really appreciated the opportunity to speak here. And so in preparing for it, it's funny just looking at kind of trying to put myself in your guys' shoes about how to take advantage of this platform. And so I'm going to give you a lot of different examples of that today. Many of different people here have done some of them. So some shout outs to that, some tips and best practices on how to take advantage of the site. So we're number 3 website, but we're also, if we were a country, we'd be the 3rd biggest country. It was funny because when I did the slide originally, we were smaller than the US. We finally knocked off the US in terms of unique user traffic. Now we're gunning for China and India. So it's pretty massive in terms of scale. 70% of the traffic to YouTube is overseas. And some of the bigger countries are things like Japan, Brazil, France, the UK. 20 hours of video, not 13, 20 hours of video are uploaded every minute. So the upload scale is pretty overwhelming. And I think that's really important for people to think about. 20 hours of video uploaded every minute, because everyone's like, okay, if I do the best content, that's gonna, I'm gonna rise to the top of YouTube. It's a lot more than just getting that, that killer video out there, because with that massive amount of content coming in, how do you kind of like rise up? And so I'm gonna give you some pointers on doing just that. By far, he has 1.2 million subscribers. He's the #1 subscribed channel on all of YouTube. He's a 15-year-old kid out of Oklahoma, I think. And he has, every video gets probably around 5 million views for every single clip. He uploads it like every week, massive following. I think he just signed a film deal. But he's hard to watch.
Hey, it's Red, and it's really nice out, so I think I'm gonna go swimming later. Oh my God, it's cold!
Well, the guys that have the power on YouTube are the partners, the top partners, the guys like Fred, who get 3 to 5 million views every single time. So think about partners that have huge subscription bases and partnering with them. And if you do that, like machinima.com has a huge following on YouTube. Red versus Blue also has a huge following. There's other things where, like this Carl's Jr. example, is where they basically chose 5 or 6 of the top kind of YouTube personalities and had them do their own kind of Carl's Jr. sort of spots. And like Nigga Higa, who's the one in the center there, they had 3.5 million views on that. And listen, and they're doing it for chump change. I mean, that's in terms of partnering with these guys, rather than, they're getting TV-size audiences in a very kind of organic way. So what are some tips to kind of get noticed, if you will? One is embeds are key to the most viewed list. So one of the things you want to do is you want to get on the most viewed list on YouTube, because then if you're exposed, then more and more people will watch you with all the traffic on the site. So actually, the best way to get views is go off the site rather than on the site, and get and lean on places, blogs that will embed the videos. About 10 to 12% of the overall traffic that YouTube gets in terms of views comes from the embeds. There's other things when you put your tags on the videos, make sure you don't do basic tags like that everyone else is using, because if you do, then when you're, let's say, search, and YouTube is the 2nd biggest search engine out there after Google. So when people search, you want to be top listed in terms of the search, right? But if you use the same tags everybody else does, you're competing with all them. So do some more unique tags to make your content easier to be found. Optimize your description and thumbnails. People think, I put all my money into the production of the spot. That should be enough. Well, actually, think of it as just like a magazine or a package. You have to start with your thumbnail and choose your thumbnails wisely because you want people, that's going to be your click. That's your magazine cover. And you can see like Shark Week, we had that one on the homepage last week, was massive. It had about a million views in just a day. You know, this one, the description is also important. Master Chief sucks at Halo, did really well. So, you know, in terms of kind of generating things. But you can see it's just like packaging in terms of making sure you have a compelling image that kind of engages people to get them in. So those are the basics. Release all videos simultaneously. This one always amazes me. People think it's like television. Well, I'll release it every week. I'll release it every 2 weeks, your videos. If you have 5 videos and they're ready to go, release them all at the same time and make sure that you also are having them listed as related videos. Because you want to make sure that your one video lifts all the other videos up too. So you don't want people, let's say your first video gets the most views, right? You don't want a week later that video might have fallen off and then your other videos don't benefit from the first video. So kind of like make sure all the videos that you're releasing kind of can kind of help you generate and maximize your views for all your content. Imitate other viral hits to gain momentum. Imitation is not only accepted, it's encouraged. You have to find your own twist, but as you can see from the example I brought up earlier with Soulja Boy, you know, like if you do something that the community likes, let them take it and make their own. It's really, really important. Turn your video into an interactive experience. Just posting a video is so old school. So I mean, okay, so we have a thing on the site called annotations. I don't know if anyone's familiar with annotations. Annotations allow you to interlock videos. So you can basically, what we're seeing is a lot of people using annotations to turn it into an interactive experience. Here's an example of one for Street Fighter. You can kind of get a sense of it.
You win.
Or stand out from the YouTube norm. Add the element of surprise. When you have all this content, you got to kind of break conventions is really important to get noticed. So here's one that you guys probably have seen, Waryland Shake Up, that I thought was very well done. Every single example that I'm showing you is like where the brand message is secondary to the entertainment value. You got to start like, it's got to be entertaining first and foremost. So that's why I always think we don't work in marketing, we work in entertainment. Because if you can't engage your audience, you really struggle. So here's another example of something that I think was very well done. I mean, remember at the beginning slide I showed you YouTube and where it stands on that spectrum of social networking to a media company. And you know, YouTube is not a social networking site like Facebook. So, but you do have like these massive other social networks like Facebook or Twitter and so forth. So what we're seeing more and more of, and I encourage you to look at, is how you can work with sites in combination, right? So, for example, the integration on this brand channel, this is called Green Eyed World, which is a Sprite program that's going on. And they integrated Facebook into their brand channel in a very kind of way where you can not only watch the content, but you can connect with your Facebook your Facebook friends and so forth, and then have Twitter integrated as well. So the more and more you can kind of like, let's say, use YouTube as your hub or Facebook as your hub and integrate these other social networking sites on what they do best. So media is what we do best. You know, I think reaching out to communities is really or the community is what Facebook does best. So they can all build on each other. So you don't have to silo each of them. I mean, it's a smart strategy. You know, put the entertainment first, but then kind of let people know where it's come from is a smart strategy. I mean, don't let people, so it doesn't feel as if you're trying to dupe people too much. You know, you're just trying to have fun with it. So hopefully these examples helped you guys out.